All right, so unfortunately, the radiator's got to come back out of this. It is just leaking way too bad. I don't know if you can see it through the grill there. I tried to open up some of the cores. It was stopped up. I think that's why it was getting hot, not because of the thermostat. So we got to put a new core in it, take it apart, put a new core in it. You can see here on this one, I just put a new tank on the bottom because I busted it. But we got to pull it out, remove the tank here, and remove the upper tank. So, which means these flathead screws have to come out. And I've heated them and tried to twist them with the largest screwdriver I have and some pliers. And it's just bending my screwdriver. So what I'm gonna do, if you saw I had that nut sitting up there, we're gonna weld a nut to the top of them. And hopefully we can encourage them to come out without snapping off. So let's get started. All right, so we got the nut welded on, and I did get the slightest bit of movement. I don't know if you can see it, but just because it moves doesn't mean the battle's over yet. We can still wring it off. So the idea is to just sit here and work it back and forth, even if it takes 30 minutes, and then just keep spraying it and let the penetrating oil run down in here and hopefully get down to the threads and break the threads loose. So we're gonna keep working at it here, and then hopefully this side will come out and we'll move to the next side. All right, after a little bit of back and forth patience, we have sweet victory. Either that or it rung off. I don't think it did because it's still coming out. Oh yeah. We're not gonna touch that because it's probably still 5 million degrees from where I welded the nut on. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That's not that bad. Still a little toasty. Look at all that junk coming out of there. There you have it. There's one done. That was the nightmare I was fearing probably end up being something else since that came out. But let's move on to the next one. All right, and with the same methods as used on the other side, we got this one loose too. So I wanted to get those broke loose while it's still hooked to the tractor because I knew they could potentially be a bit of a bear. So now that those are loose, we'll go ahead and unhook everything and pull the radiator back off. And since you guys have seen me do that and put it back on once already, we're gonna skip that part and we'll just cut to disassembling the radiator. All right, we got the radiator out. Already wrung these 2 bolts off, getting the grill out. So now we get to see how many of these ring off, trying to get the lower tank off. All right, there's one out. Work it back and forth. Finally come out. Yep. Now we get to do the rest of them. Hopefully hopefully they don't break off. All right, we got the lower tank off. Didn't bring any of those off. Somehow only wrung off the one in the top tank down here. The rest of them came out. Tank's pretty cruddy, but hopefully that'll clean up. Now we're ready to break the core away from the top tank. There's the core. Top tank don't look too terrible. We'll clean it up while we got it out. Figure out how to get the core out now. Waiting on the new one. Alright, so what I'm doing now, we got everything apart. I scraped all the rust and old gasket off of the surface. I'm taking a tap and I'm running them in all of the threaded bolt holes. I think technically you're supposed to use a thread chaser, but I've always just used a regular tap. And as nasty as these holes are, probably needs a regular tap anyway. So we'll get that started in there, give it some lubricant, help it clean the threads out, and then we'll just run it on in there. It was turning pretty up. Yep, you can tell where it got to the end of where the bolt was. Alright, just run that on back out. And just do that across all 14 of those, and then there's a couple in the bottom. That's the top of the side. There's a couple threaded in the bottom on the edges. We'll get those, and then I got to get this bolt out right here, and then the two that rung off from the grill, and we should be on our way to getting this thing put back together. All right, we're going to go ahead and get these broken bolts out of the tank and out of the side pieces. So what we're going to do here is we're going to weld a nut to what's left, and hopefully it'll go ahead and turn loose. And just like that, the heat, nope, not just like that. I didn't get the nut welded on good. Let me go grab another nut and we'll try again. Give it a little back and forth motion here. I can feel it moving. And I believe we got her. Just like that. Secret is to not just go ahead and, once you do that, once you get it moving, don't just try and He-Man it on out. Work it back and forth a little bit so you get the penetrating oil down in there. Once you get the penetrating oil down in there, you got her made. And I'm definitely not touching that because it's probably 50 million degrees. There we go. For some reason, it seems like if you try to tighten it first, you have better luck out of getting it to move. You can see I just got that one to move a little bit there. Yep, just patience back and forth. And the nut just broke off, but we got it to move, so we'll we'll try that one again. Let's see if this one wants to come off. Sometimes it takes more than one try if you don't get a good weld on the nut. And both nuts broke off. So, time to ask a little more. Not as nice this time. So, we're gonna heat the metal up around where it's broken off. We'll hopefully swell it out some and help break the bond of the rust in there. All right, we finally got those out. Had to try 2 or 3 times on each one. They were just being stubborn, extra rusty, but we're good there. So now we're gonna take the big cut brush here and clean up these surfaces. There's a little bit of rust buildup on them here and on the tank. That way we'll get a really good seal. Then we're gonna go through and tap out all the holes, continue tapping out all the holes, rinse this tank out, and then do the same for the bottom. It's pretty nasty, so. All right, here we are. Brand new radiator core. This one does not seem to be as thick this way as the old one, but I wish it was you know, I bet the other one's another 1/2 inch. It's got probably another row worth of space here of core, but you gotta take what you can get. I'm surprised you can even still get these at all. So I'm happy for that, and I'm happy that it's here. So all we gotta do is finish cleaning everything up, which is probably gonna take a while, and then put it together. All right, so we're basically back where we started when the radiator decided it wanted to start pouring out. Sorry, I didn't really get any footage of us putting it back together. Getting kind of down to crunch time to get this thing back, and my dad stayed over late one night, and we just worked until we got it put together, so that way we could get it set on. But basically now we got everything buttoned up. You can see. Got a brand new core in there, all new bolts and everything. Can't really see the top. Put a new drain pipe in, and all we got left now to put the coolant in is I need to put the temp probe back in. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and then we're gonna dump the antifreeze back in it, and hopefully not have any drips on the ground this time. All right, here's the big moment of truth. I'm gonna set you up right here so you can see if it starts to run out on the ground first, so yell at me if it does. It doesn't help that I spilled it everywhere, because now it looks like it's leaking when it's really not. But I think we're good. I can see in there in the important parts. And I don't see anything coming out yet. We'll just have to let it sit here a little bit and let all that kind of drip off. That's kind of stupid. I should have used a funnel, but I thought I could hit it. But, oh well. Now we're gonna move on to getting the carburetor button back up while we're waiting to see if that's gonna leak everywhere. All right, so now we need to make a gasket for where the carburetor hooks up, because all this was just open. It wasn't even bolted up. And I don't have a gasket, so we're gonna make one. We got a sheet of gasket paper and a ball peen hammer. Works like a charm. So just gonna position your gasket over and then just tap around the edge. You can get that fuel line out of the way. Bend it up a little bit. And then just, well, it's still in the way, but we'll make do. And then just start tapping around the edge. And as you're tapping it, you basically just shear the paper. You can see it already starting right there. And then with a little bit of patience, next thing you know, you got a gasket. All right, and there's our gasket. Definitely done better. Doesn't look super great right there, but we're just gonna put a coat of Permatex on that and it'll be just fine. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, but we're leaving it better than we found it because we didn't have anything in there at all. So now we're ready to stick the carburetor back on. This is gonna be great. All right, unfortunately it got dark on me last night, which is not good for recording. So, but you didn't miss anything. This was just being a real royal pain. I guess that's probably good when it's hooked up, those bolts, but I was just seeing there was a rubber hose there, trying to get those in, and keep the gaskets in place was not real fun. But it's on there and it's dry for now, and looks like this is dry. I don't see any drips. I did start it briefly last night just to dry off the water and the coolant that I spilled when I was filling it up. Let's take a look inside. But I did not let it get warm enough because it was like 10:30 and my neighbors probably wanted to go to sleep. Yeah, we're still full. So we're gonna go ahead and start it up here this morning and let it get up to temp and see what she does. Okay, oil pressure. Not super thrilled with that, but as long as it's above 0. And we'll see if we can get some temp in it. And this is where it dies. I made it almost through the woods over there, and it acted like it ran out of gas. So I sat there for a second. It started and quit. So I waited a little bit more. I started it and it was running. So I was like, all right, let's back up and head back up. So turned back around, started driving back up this way, and now it acts like it's completely out of gas. And I don't think it's out of gas because I can still see gas over the pickup in the tank. So I'm thinking that the screen in there is stopped up and not letting gas through, or the line. So we're gonna take that apart and see what we find. Well, job creep continues with this one. We were broke down there, but I pulled us back up here so we weren't walking back and forth. The screen was gone out of that. I hope it hasn't stopped the carburetor up with a bunch of junk. I'm just gonna go buy a new cutoff. That one actually still works, but you can't, of course you can't get just the gasket and the screen for it. So we gotta go spend $50 on another one. And while that's out, while there's no gas in it, I might as well JB weld patch where this is leaking. So we're gonna go and sand it off and put some JB weld on it. That way it can be setting up, and then we're gonna run to the store and grab a new cutoff. All right, we got our JB weld in there curing up. It's almost done. Got a new fuel bowl on, so we're gonna give that JB weld a little bit more time to set up. I'm checking it on where I mixed it right here, and it's pretty solid. Still a little soft, so I'm gonna go grab something to eat and let that finish curing out a little bit more, and then we should be ready to stick it back together and hopefully get it to run. I'm also trying to get another one ready for the same rod that I'm trying to take this one to, and so I've been working on that one all morning too. It was fighting me. The sediment bowl, ended up having to take the tank off of it too. The sediment bowl had gotten stopped up with rust, and it wouldn't run. So, but that one's ready now, and hopefully this one's going to be ready here shortly. All right, we're finally all back together. I think I've gotten everything taken care of. Sorry again if it seems like I skipped out on a lot of the steps or the process here. It's just getting down to crunch time to get this thing ready to go on the ride. So I'm just trying to get it done. I got to be up there in the morning with it. If you notice, the 1950's gone. I already hauled it up there, so it'd be up there for us to get ready to get started tomorrow. So this thing seems to be running pretty good. We got coolant circulation. It's not getting hot now. Sounds pretty good, really. It's got a little bit of a flutter, idle flutter. I'm hoping maybe that'll get better. We got some seat foam in the gas tank. We'll see if that'll kind of work through there. Maybe running it's just all it needs. But let's try again and see if we can make our trip down the driveway and back now. Go to third. We're gonna give it the ultimate test. We're gonna see if it'll take off right here and run up the driveway there in high gear. I know you probably can't really tell on the video, but it's a pretty decent little grade there on the driveway. So we're gonna go to fourth. Get this first. Fourth right there. All right, let's see what she does. All right, well, as you probably heard there, sounds really good. So I'm hoping it'll run that good tomorrow. We're gonna put it to the ultimate test. We're gonna see if it'll go on it's at least 35, maybe 40 mile tractor ride. Benefit tractor ride that one of the neighboring counties does for special needs kids. So a lot of fun. That was the main reason I wanted to get it going here so soon. So Again, I apologize if it seemed like I skipped around here in this video, skipped some of my processes. It's just because I was trying to get it done so we could make it to the rod. So if you stick around, I promise it's worth it. You're gonna wanna stay tuned for the next video after this one. Again, like I said, we're gonna take it on this tractor rod with the 1950 that you saw briefly here, and Dad's 1952 Case SC. So should be a really good time. Again, thanks for following along this far. If you like this video, again, please like and subscribe. It really helped me out. Thanks, have a good one, guys.